All right, our final award this evening is a special recognition award, and I'd like to bring up my hero and good friend, P.T., to tell you the story about Alexander Ford Hume, a true pioneer from the East Coast, born in 1868.
Thanks, Hunter. It's an honor to be here. As you well know, I am an East Coaster. It's just the East Coast of Australia. One difference, right? But congratulations to all the inductees, the class of 2018. I've been coming to the East Coast for over 40 years. I first came in '77 for the old Florida Pro, and then not long after that, I went up the coast to the Easterns at Hatteras in '78 with the Bronzed Aussies, and then on to Grogs. And I've known Groovy Grog for a long time. I surfed against this guy here, Carson, on the West Coast when he moved to California. Yeah, I think in some of the Catons and the Sutherland Pro. I think you were in that one with us, right? And looking down the line, Neil Skill Johnson, I think he handed me a couple of jerseys in the Triple Crowns in those days. And one of the best surf sessions I've ever had in Florida was with Benny B over here. I was with the Hobgoods, and the Hobgoods got us out of bed one morning, and it was dawn and cold, and we went to New Smyrna, and it was awesome, and we had a great surf session. So I have a real affinity with the East Coast, and for many years, of course, you know, I was the marketing director at Rusty and toured all the retail stores from Maine to Miami. But I want to say, what I'm going to say here is really important, in my opinion, to East Coast surfing. Because the last induction in 2016, we honored Duke Kahanamoku. But before that, there was Alexander Hume Ford. And I don't think people realize the impact he actually had. It's been kind of a Carolina night. He was from the Carolinas. He was born in Carolina in 1868. Grew up on the beaches and became a journo and moved to New York. And through his journalistic, he convinced an editor to send him on a trip around the world to cover some sort of stuff. But in 1907, he ended up in Waikiki. He was 39 years of age. And at the same time he ended up in Waikiki, Jack London ended up in Waikiki and started surfing with a guy called George Freeth. Now this is all before Duke Kahanamoku. This is going on before Duke. And Alexander, he loved the beach. He became a friend of Freeth and got Freeth to teach him how to surf. And to be honest, he's probably arguably the guy that's responsible for the beach culture of the Beach Boys in Waikiki. Because in 1908, he founded the Outrigger Canoe Club. And Freeth was one of the first members of that club. Duke wasn't a member. They had another club down the ways a little bit, which was more for the Hawaiians. And Duke was part of that. Duke didn't become part of Outrigger until 1917. And of course was an ambassador of Outrigger from 1917 until he passed away in '68. So I want you to understand the importance of this guy. And he came from the Carolinas and had a major impact on the culture we all enjoy today. Now I understand there's some descendants of the Humes in the room tonight. And I think they deserve a round of applause, because we probably might not all be standing here or have an industry that's really, the culture really started with those Beach Boys on the beaches of Waikiki, teaching tourists how to surf. And of course, Freeth went on to move to California and became Duke's mentor. He trained Duke for those Olympics when he won the gold medals, and unfortunately, George Freeth passed away at a very young age in San Diego. Funny little story just for me is that, so the first World Professional Surfing Championship was awarded to me in 1976 in the Outrigger Canoe Club. And you've all read that story where Fred Hemmings decided he was going to declare me the world champion, and he didn't have a trophy. So he went to the trophy cabinet in the Outrigger Canoe Club and took out a trophy and turned it round backwards so you couldn't read the inscription, and took that photo that everyone's seen of me with Fred Hemmings 40 years ago. So I went back to the Outrigger Canoe Club about 3 years ago with Fred, because Fred's a lifelong member of the Outrigger Canoe Club, and we found that trophy. It's still there. And we turned it around backwards and took the picture again. So it's really an honor for me to be up here tonight to recognize Alexander Hume Ford, and I just want to make you sure that you understand the impact that had on surfing culture, and it started in the Carolinas. Thank you.